think I might not be very well.
This is another Van Morrison comic, and just like the Animals Man one I just reviewed, I hate this. I like Van Morrison. Well, I thought I did. Maybe I didn't anymore. This is bad, despite it having a promising setup. This is one of them Multiversities comics that Van Morrison did and nobody remembers. I have not read them all. The two I think I reviewed and they were both good. But this is terrible. This is called Pax Americana for some reason. And the idea is that Van Morrison, he is responding to Watchmen 3 decades too late. And for this, he has drafted in the DC characters who used to belong to Charlatan Comics, the ones who were the inspiration for Watchmen. These are some of my favourite DC characters and Pacemaker. And this is an incomprehensible mess. I barely even want to talk about it. It's rubbish. Van Morrison is flailing around with very little to say. He has been quite outspoken over the years about not liking Watchmen. But you know what, pal? Watchmen was a mite bit better than this nonsensical rubbish. There isn't a plot here, not really. It's a bunch of bits stapled together. Some of them you can follow perfectly, like here we start off with Pacemaker. He assassinates the president. It is shown in reverse. Why is it in reverse? It doesn't matter. You could follow what was happening here at least. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't add a part to this tapestry. It's just a bit. The rest borders on illegible. We have sequences like this, which are promising some sort of a narrative. They're setting something up. They're talking about Pacemaker killing the president. And we do all the government responding to superheroes stuff, like in Watchmen. But it's like everyone in the comic is a robot. All their conversations and dialogue, it all reads like they are reciting pre-programmed phrases. And then we have a lot of shite like this where it's artistically interesting. We're following them going down some stairs. But all it does is distract away from the script that is already beyond difficult to follow. To try and understand what was going on here, or what Morrison was trying to do, I illegally downloaded the Director's Cut edition of this issue, which had a script and some commentary included at the back as extras. Now, I am convinced, after reading that, Van Morrison, he had naught to do with this comic. It was a pretentious A-level student with the same name who had just read Watchmen and thought it was underwhelming. You're all seeing different characters and sets here, but none of them are connected. Maybe I am an idiot. Maybe I'm too stupid to understand what ingenious things Van Morrison is saying about comic books or Watchmen here. Maybe the problem with this comic, it isn't the comic, it is me. Maybe I'm too stupid to ever read Van Morrison's really intelligent discourse. Oh, and even though the cover has got the original Blue Beetles on, inside it is the one that I like, but he's written badly. Both him and Mr. Questions, they speak like robots, and the only time they seem to exert any personality is for Morrison to have them openly mock or critique aspects of Watchmen, or do little jokes about them all having erectile dysfunction. And this is the scene where you should get pissed off. We have Mr. Questions investigating a murder scene, just like in Watchmen, and we have 3 different scenes playing out at the same time. You could tell a story where this has artistic merit. We're showing these 3 different scenes concurrently. It adds something, it has a point, but this has no purpose. There is no plot here. This is just an exercise in style over substance, and the style involved is bothersome and annoying. Now we get a Captain Ataman, and this is where the writing gets as bad as it can be. Everything before this, it was readable. All the voices sounded inauthentic and fake. But Captain Ataman, he just babbles on and on with meaningless rubbish. You see, Van Morrison, he has made a comic book that he believes, and Captain Ataman believes because it is meta. They believe that this comic can be read in any order. Isn't that clever? No, you've just created a comic that reads shit in any order. There is no plot. You've put together a bunch of bits that have so little context that it can be read out of order. You're just saying a sentence backwards. You're not restructuring a sentence. You might think that this can't be that bad. You might be looking at it right now as I hold it and think, that looks alright. The art looks nice, and we have all these great charlatan characters. It cannot be bad. It must just be this idiot. He just doesn't understand it. Don't bother with this. It is a waste of your time and your money. Van Morrison, he has written a non-linear story that is not only non-linear, but it's also non-good. When you strip away all the pretension, this is nothing. This really is nothing. It is hollow. There's no actual story. There's no characters. It's just adapting scenes from Watchmen or twisting ideas from Watchmen, but to no ultimate end. Then there's this bit with Captain Ataman and the President, and it is fucking unreadable. There is 5 pages of Captain Ataman waffling on and on about the concept of life and existence. Oh, and on the last few pages that I quickly skipped by, he also atomically dissects a dog, so I'm really in a fuck-off mood with Van Morrison at the minute. These bits with Captain Ataman, who has been sadly retooled even further to be just like Manhattan Man, he's just spouting a never-ending stream of philosophical gibberish. Everything in this, it is meaningless drivel. There's nothing linking everything that happens here. I mean, we do have some nice art, but if you read this without ever reading Watchmen, if you had never heard of Watchmen, there isn't anything at all that you could latch onto as some fundamental understanding of what is happening. And even if you have read Watchmen, this is only getting by with you recognising certain beats from that story. This does nothing with any of those beats. There really isn't a story here. There is no overarching anything except some faint nostalgia for a better story that Van Morrison openly hates. There is a much better story by Van Morrison with art by a pervert. There is no entertainment to be had here. Didn't buy it, didn't read it, didn't even think about it ever again. I like the cover, it is a great cover. The interior art is decent and was trying some stuff out, but the writing is abysmal. This might honestly be some of the worst writing I have ever looked at on this channel. I'm wondering if I just didn't like Van Morrison anymore. Like, I am 30 now. Maybe Van Morrison, he only appeals to people in their 20s. I'm glad this doesn't appeal to me, though. If this writing appeals to anyone, it would be a stoner prick who lives in their mum's garage. No, wait, no, not even a stoner prick. It would be a prick who pretends to be a stoner, but cannot even handle a glass of Ribena. It has finally happened. My average score for comics has remained at a 7 thumbs up. But this is going to set off that average because I can only rate this one a 7 thumbs up.